there's nowhere left to go. Nowhere except the oasis. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. A world where the limits of reality are your own imagination.
Hello and welcome to another review, and today I'm looking at Ready Player One, and it's a new film set in Columbus, Ohio in the year 2045, where Wade Watts, played by Sheridan, lives in the stacks, which are high-rise caravan slums basically, and he dreams of a life out of there like everyone else. But everyone has become way over addicted to virtual reality and also has the requisite headsets, which work even better when you've got an omnidirectional treadmill. Although not everyone has one of these, and so they've got to make do with acting it out in the street, which is amazing that no one manages to crash into each other while doing so. There's a character called H, not from Steps, I have to say. That's his best friend in the Oasis. It's this virtual reality thing they go into, but they've never actually met in real life, a bit like a lot of people on Facebook. However, Wade becomes besotted with Artemis, which is the avatar used by Samantha, played by Olivia Cook. Now, Wade lives with his aunt Alice and her violent boyfriend Rick. He spent all the money on loot crates for the family, and if you're not sure what they are, they're like a form of gambling. Basically, while some games allow microtransactions, which mean that instead of spending 20 hours in a game working through it to get a particular item or weapon, you could just spend 20 quid and buy it instead. Now, given that a game can cost upwards of £45, and with lots of these microtransactions possible, you could have spent a potential £1,000. £1,000, I won't pay it, on Star Wars Battlefront 2, before EA saw the light after all the fans castigated them for it. Loot crates are similar, but you receive a number of items for your money, some of which are useful and some of which aren't, hence the gamble. Now, the creator of Oasis, Halliday, played by Rylance, who's up there, he's died. Happens to us all. Not yet, thankfully. But his final gift to the world is an Easter egg. And just at the right time of the year as well. But this kind of Easter egg is like a special thing. Find it in the Oasis by first finding 3 special keys. And then you win the Oasis itself. So it's a bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, 5 years on from his death, and no one's found a single key, lazy gets. So Wade wants to become the winner. And the first challenge being like a sort of wacky races thing, where he drives a DeLorean. Yes, get ready for plenty of Back to the Future references and loads of things from Spielberg, and especially with the Back to the Future, because not only does the incidental music pop up from that, this film has the same composer, Alan Silvestri, after all, but you can also buy a Zemeckis cube. Now, the cube's reason to exist, it's something you'll discover along the way, but Robert Zemeckis directed all 3 movies, and while it was also produced by this film's director, was produced by this director's film company, Amblin Entertainment, piano. Well, that's it. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. It was just while it was also produced by this director's film company, Amblin Entertainment. It made it sound like I was going somewhere else when I wasn't. However, also spot the Star Wars noises along the way. I'll come to all that in a moment. But now, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen like a load of CGI. Now, the CGI in the Oasis, it's all very fast and clever the way it all flies around, but the more I saw of it, the less I was impressed. Once it kind of finds its level, I feel like I was watching a Final Fantasy movie for like 2.5 hours. Some will love that, sure, but I wanted a Spielberg movie, not what feels like a lazy rip-off. Not only that, but also it's like watching one of those video game adverts where they throw a load of several characters together and also like to dress a game up with fancy graphics and just for the adverts, and then put at the bottom of the screen not actual gaming footage. And when I say several characters, I mean like, there are a lot of avatars late on in the film, such as Halo's Master Chief and Overwatch's Tracer. And there's also an overabundance of movie references, such as Terminator 2, The Dark Crystal, one showing King Kong, There's a baddie from War of the Worlds, and even a suit from Buckaroo Banzai, or Buckaroo Bonsai, as they call it in America. Bonsai is a tree. Banzai. Along with a lot of others, which make you just make you think, well, that's a nod to that film over there. That's like a doff of the cap to that one. And then there's one which I won't name because I didn't see it in the trailer, so I won't spoil it. And they basically spend 10 minutes in this particular film's world, and part of me was starting to kind of enjoy it. And then I thought, if the best thing I can say about a film is that it just felt like I was watching a bunch of other films, and it made me wish I was rather watching that one instead. Well, it doesn't say a lot about this one, does it? Now, Sheridan was brilliant in Detour, and it's a film that almost no one will have seen, and also a film which was quite incredible. But here he just has to suit up and look surly when things aren't going his way. And that's for the occasional time when he's actually on screen, as the CGI does all the work the rest of the time. I don't know whether they all spent their time in an Andy Serkis motion capture suit, I don't know. I doubt it, but only he seems to put the effort in, really. But there's also Ben Mendelsohn, who's corporate bigwig and cardboard cutout baddie Nolan Sorrento, he's from the company in charge of the Oasis, and he's not exactly David Warner's evil Dillinger in this gaming world, which can't even hold a candle to Tron. There's also another throwaway movie reference, which is The Breakfast Club. And the sharp eye will spot how Sorrento's dressed at one point in a suit which makes him look exactly like Richard Vernon in that movie, the character brilliantly portrayed by the late Paul Gleason. Thankfully, there's not too much T.J. Miller, who was also in the Emoji Movie, and not too much Simon Pegg either, who's in far too many things these days, including Star Trek Beyond. So Star Trek, he's been in most of the Mission Impossible films. He must really. I mean, Simon Pegg, he was great in Space. I love the Shaun of the Dead movies and that trilogy, but he really must have something on Hollywood to keep popping up on all these bloody films. Has he got some special photos of them or something? There's also one other weird thing where there's a spell that's cast, and the first word in it is anal, which is pronounced anal. Dear oh dear. Oh, and there's also a device, or plot device, called the Orb of Orsovox, which, well, you won't really care what it does when you see it, because no one else in the film seems to either. Since all you need to know is, as for a film, that this quickly degenerates into a chase movie. On the plus side, however, there are plenty of cosplay opportunities to come about from this, most notably Artemis, who feels very reminiscent of the aforementioned Tracer. And there's a lot of 70s and 80s music tracks in it, including Bee Gees' Staying Alive and New Order's Blue Monday, all crowbarred in for your oral pleasure. So, what did I give Ready Player 1 out of 10? Yeah, it's not great. But I'm sure this video was, so please like this video and share it with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already, and cue Genesis.